Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into Dolphins Roundtable, home of the real Miami Dolphin fans. Make sure to hit that like button on your way in the building. And if you haven't already subscribed, make sure to hit the subscribe button to get all the latest Dolphins news right here on Dolphins Roundtable. On this episode, we're kicking off the offseason with a discussion Dolphin fans may not be too familiar with, and that is the first step in the offseason process. Before we get to the scouting combine, free agency, and the draft, the champion has now been crowned. And now we're starting off the most important part of the offseason program, the self-scouting, self-evaluation process. This is where the team is evaluating its roster and its systems. Having a new GM and coaching staff makes this process that much of more added importance. The process starts with identifying circle players. Now, what is a circle player? A circle player is who the team they are playing has to game plan for to ensure they don't create havoc and wreck your game plan. Some examples of circle player are Myles Garrett, Justin Jefferson, Max Crosby, Derrick Henry, and Patrick Mahomes. As we head into doing our own self-scouting, we are joined by a special guest today. He has been a lifetime Dolphins fan, a 2005 NJCAA National Champion football coach, and Glendale Community College Hall of Fame inductee, Dan Barton. Dan, thanks for coming on today.
You're welcome. Very nice to be with you.
As we look at the Dolphins roster, who do you believe the Dolphins will ultimately identify as circle players?
So understand the self-scouting, self-evaluation process really goes on all year long within organizations. But you have a change in Miami, right? You have a new general manager, you have a new coaching staff. So they don't have the benefit of working with these players every single day. So they have to go back, as John Eric Sullivan said, and really do a deep dive on the current team. So they're going to watch the games, they're going to look at all the film, and they're going to make evaluations. When they look at the offense, I think they will identify, in my opinion, three people as circle players. Now, two of them are clearly circle players. One is kind of a borderline. So Tyreek Hill, Devon Achane, definitely circle players. They're people that the other team definitely has to know where they are and have to game plan for when you're playing the Miami Dolphins. Jalen Waddle's kind of a bubble, circle player. When Tyreek Hill is not there, he's stepped up and he's shown flashes where you need to kind of game plan for him. But he's really on the bubble. I'm going to put him in the circle players for now, but the other two definitely are clearly circle players. When they look at the defensive side of the ball, I don't think they're going to identify anybody as a circle player on the current roster.
Well, we know Tyreek Hill had that major injury in Week 4 against the New York Jets. So now, if he does come back, there's questions about whether he's going to be on the roster. However, would you still have him as a circle player coming off the injury, or do you have him more on that bubble line now because of the major injury and his age that he suffered the injury at?
So when you're identifying whether he's a circle player, you can only go off of where he was at the time, right? So at this point, when he got hurt, yes, he's a circle player. Now, there's a lot of factors, right? They're going to have to evaluate, how he looks coming back from that. That won't change the designation, but it will determine, other aspects about his position on the roster.
All right. Once the Dolphins have identified the circle players, what's the next step in the self-evaluation process?
Yeah, so you got your circle players, right, which is the ones you usually build around. Right? You say these are the people who can make a difference. They're the ones that cause havoc for other teams. But that's the starting point. Not everybody who's a circle player is going to end up being on the team, because you have to look at what was their actual performance, what's their age, what's the financial commitment that the team needs to make for them. So if you look at the dynasties that the Patriots had, they were very good at self-evaluating and self-scouting. And people always question why they let certain players go when they still seem like they could play. It was through this process. So they're going to look, because you may have a circle player whose production is going down, but their financial commitment is going up. So then you have to weigh those things and decide, for the overall good of the team and where the team is, does it make sense to keep them on the team, or to look at a trade or possibly cutting them, because that's what's best for the overall health of the organization. We're Dolphins fans. We can't kid ourselves. We're not a quarterback. We're not a couple players away from being a championship contender. We have a lot of holes on this roster. It's not deep. So there's going to be a lot of work that needs to be done, and we're not in a good financial place based on the contracts that the previous regime gave out. So I think you're going to start to see with some of those decisions, they're going to be tough decisions. And I think the current new regime is going to want to make those decisions early, not later, to really start the full rebuilding mode and get it over as quickly as possible.
All right. Well, based on everything that we kind of discussed, what is your opinion on the roster as it stands right now, and what is the outlook for this team as we head into some huge dates on the offseason calendar?
Yeah, I think the outlook is too early, right? There's a lot of speculation. We got a brand new coaching staff that's just been named. You're going to start to get a glimpse of what they're thinking as they make these decisions on their current roster. Just looking at the financials, the performance, my opinion is I think Tua will not be on the roster when it comes to opening day. I don't think Jason Sanders will be on the roster when it comes to opening day. I don't think that Tyreek Hill will be on the roster. I don't think that Austin Jackson will be on the roster. And I don't think Bradley Chubb will be when it comes to opening day. I think they're going to look at trades, cuts, different options that they have. But I honestly just don't believe they will be with the team when it starts at the beginning of the year. I think there's a few other players that they are going to look at what the trade value is and what they could do with them. And if the value is high enough, they'll pull the trigger early. If it's not, then I could see them being on the roster and then being possibly a trade deadline type of move. And that's Jalen Waddle, Minkah Fitzpatrick, Devon Achane, and Chop Robinson.
Well, I know the big one is Tua. That's really the big one everyone's been talking about this offseason. And recently it sounds like they're going to try to trade him first. But ultimately, do you think he's going to get traded, or do you think this is a post-June 1st or pre-June 1st kind of cut?
Really tough to say. The biggest challenge with the trade for Tua is his contract. Okay. He didn't have a great year. He has an injury history. So a team that is even willing to take him as a player is not going to want to take on that kind of financial risk. So the question is, how willing are the Dolphins to eat, a significant amount of his current salary? And that's really, I think, what's going to dictate whether they can get a trade done or not when it comes to Tua.
All right. Thank you, Dan, for coming on. I hope you can join us on Dolphins Roundtable here in the near future.
It was a pleasure.
All right. That's going to do it for this episode here on Dolphins Roundtable. Make sure to hit the like button. And if you haven't already subscribed, make sure to hit the subscribe button to get all the latest news right here on Dolphins Roundtable. I want to thank you for watching, and we'll see you on the next episode.